Houston, we have a problem.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikka Draziv. Guys, welcome to the show. If you're watching us from YouTube, do comment, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. And if you're first time here, yes, do share the show with your friends. And if you're watching us from realtruthseekers.com, rts.video, yes, rts.video is one of our main sponsors for most of our coming production and Heliopsychosis podcast. So do check out rts.video. It's the shortest link. It's an alternative platform, very similar to YouTube. And you can find some amazing stuff. A big shout out to my brother, Marcio David, for taking that whole platform ahead. rts.video. Yes. Today's topic, awesome topic too. It just confirms like the globe was and is a totally BS, like in every way. And it's always, there is more confirmation and much earlier, right? Then people can think about that, how this real truth has been ingrained in so many different cultures, right? So awesome topic today. Let's jump in with our host and panelist. Gene, brother, how are you?
Hey, Vikka, what's up, brother? Doing great. Good to be back. And hi to everybody in the chat. Vikka, thanks for throwing the show. I know you're really busy these days. I say it a lot, but I appreciate it because the shows are great. They're a lot of fun. We cover some great topics. And like I still say, you know, Vikka don't sleep, guys. He doesn't sleep. He gets a lot done in a day. So thanks a lot, bro. And good to be here with everybody. So, I want to throw something in real quick while we're here with this map from Babylonian times. That we covered a lot of the cosmology, which is the study of the origin of the universe, the stars, planets, sun, and moon, and so that's that. And then you have astronomy, which is the study and the interpretation of the space objects in there, everything in the heavens all together. And then there's astrology, which is the study of the movements and how these bodies shift positions to each other and how they correlate with each other and how they affect and influence life on the planet, in the world. I said planet, but how they affect life down here, for animals and people, plants, weather, and and then you got astrophysics, which just throws like pseudoscience on all of that, and that was, the Babylonians didn't differentiate too much between astronomy and astrology. Now they write the astrophysics writes astrology off as woo-woo kind of, you know, nonsense, and astrophysics is where they throw, like physics into what we have here and expand it in what they call out there. So if we have this much gravity and the world is this big, well, that world's that big, should have that much gravity. And that's the pseudoscience that. So I just kind of wanted to differentiate all the different aspects of what we're going to probably go over tonight and
Oh
have
yeah,
been going.
absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. Because the people want to call these ancient cosmologies as primitive because they were very simple, right? But that's
Right.
the beauty because truth is simple, right? Lies are complicated, right?
Right. You got to tell one to cover the first one, and then two to cover the first two, and then so on and so on.
Oh yeah, that we're gonna be ripping that apart tonight. And
Right.
yes, we have Keith with us tonight too. Keith, how are you? Where have you been, brother?
Hey, Vika. Hey, Gene. Good to be with you guys again. I just been busy running a business and raising kids and, working hard. But it's good to be here again tonight. You just said it real well, Vika. That kind of sums up everything. That the truth is simple and lies are complicated, for sure. And the whether it's the Babylonians or Egyptians or whoever else, most of their cosmologies, I think, had astronomy and astrology very closely related, kind of like physics and metaphysics. The older, more ancient cultures, that was kind of one and the same. It really wasn't separate. It was kind of our modern day dumbed down society that wants to try to separate everything. Like, the medicine in America here is like, you've got the respiratory system, you got the immune system, you got the nervous system, you got all these. No, you got one body. It's like, and so truth is truth, and astronomy and astrology both have truth in them. Physics and metaphysics, they're very similar. But trying to separate these things, I think, has made a lot of people stupid. And Gene, boy, you bringing up astrophysics, there's not much more stupidity than that. I mean, the people who believe that astrophysicists are telling the truth, yeah, I don't know where their head is. Maybe they've lost some brain cells listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson and lost some brain cells listening to Brian Cox, because the stuff that comes out of their mouth, there's no truth in it. They lie after lie after lie constantly. So I'm thankful for this podcast and your channel, Vika, and the work you've been doing and are going to continue to do, and many other channels out there. I'm thankful. It seems like the truth movement is growing. Yes, there's some problems in the truth movement with people attacking each other, and that's just kind of, in my opinion, that's spiritual immaturity, where people just need to grow up. And let's look at things, question things. I don't have to believe like you believe. You don't have to believe like I believe. But let's keep seeking and finding. Let's keep looking for more pieces of the puzzle. And I think this show tonight is going to be another piece of the puzzle for all of us.
Oh yeah, exactly, brother. These arguments and discussions, if it's done like without going like passing your limits, right? It's maybe it's productive for the community because the more we question things in a different, like for the sake of understanding and analyzing, and there's nothing for people to take anything personal in the community about anything. People can have five different ideas about the same thing, right? But as long as it's been transmitted with a good energy and vibe, people can try to understand, right? But nobody can push it or say this is it, and if you don't see it, you are whatever, right? In a way. So yep, that needs to, in the community, needs to get a bit better, and it's in some way it's gonna help, and it's helping, but it's gonna take time, right? Because as time passes, the information, like process, and people get those, you know flashes where you understand, this goes like that. So we hope that it works. And yeah, all the cosmologies like we discussed in past few months all speaks about the earth being flat with different levels, right? They are very clear about it, right? The levels. So if the Babylonian thought the earth was flat, and many other ancient cultures from the east or from the west all thought the earth is flat. So how the hell these people are coming up with the Greeks, that the Greeks think that the earth was around, right? If all of their scriptures or their knowledge is very similar, the ideas are very similar, right? So how come the Greeks? So I think there's a misinformation about the Greek culture, because today we are going to be discussing the Babylonians and the Sumerians, right? Also, which speaks about the map we are supposed to discuss about, right?
Yeah, 100% people have been making up stories about the Greeks to try to defend the globe delusion. Oh, the Greeks knew the earth was round 2000. No, 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 they didn't. I'm so tired of globe zealots and paid globe shills putting that out there as an argument. It's nothing but a falsehood. It's an outright lie. The Greeks 2000 years ago did not think the earth was a spinning wet rock in outer space. And the Greeks got a lot of their knowledge, I believe, from the Babylonians and the Sumerians. So we'll get into more of
It
that
did.
tonight.
Right. A lot of the cultures for hundreds of years afterwards were getting all the information from the Babylonians because they were so well rehearsed in it and they had it down. It's not going to change. So that kings were looking for the information from them.
Exactly. So exactly, we all can't really comprehend like how this all started. There are different stories that explain the origin of this realm. The Aztec had the same idea. Like for Hindus, like the god Brahma was sitting on a lotus flower, and he created the earth and the sky and the heaven. In the Chinese mythology, a hairy beast called Pangu emerged from a cosmic egg and divided the force of yin and yang into earth and sky. That's simple, simple. Yin and yang, right? Earth and sky. So it's a mirror. It's a part of the. Then there are creation myths that date back also 4,000 years plus, like the Babylonians. It's called Anu Elish. Like it tells the story of a colossal battle between Tiamat and the primordial goddesses of the sea. And Marduk, one of the gods, like he destroys this beast, and then he crushed her skull, and then how that's how the creation of this earth, according to this mythology or cosmology. It divides the universe into a top and a bottom. We have the sky and the earth. So, have you guys seen the image I have shared earlier in the chat or on the thumbnail of this podcast?
Yeah, I saw it. I wasn't able to take the time I wanted to actually research it some more, but um, simple and truthful. It's like another one of many confirmations of all the cosmologies we've looked into.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty
So,
amazing
people
how
say,
much.
yeah, go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Gene.
It's amazing how much information they fit on that little tablet. It's only like 2.5 inches by 5 inches or something like that. It's really small. There's stuff on front and the back, but it's just loaded with information that we can still look at today.
Exactly. Like 2,500 years before the Babylonian, it's actually even the mainstream media accept it, and they say it, that is one of the oldest map found on a clay, etched in clay. And it says that it represents a flat disk, a glimpse of the cosmos as the Babylonians saw it. It's supposed to be one of the oldest world map ever discovered, etched in clay over 2,500 years ago. It shows the Earth as a flat disk. You can Google it. Anybody can Google it.
Yeah, I was doing some research on history this week, and someone made a statement, something like, you know, history, real history is written in stone, and fake history or false history is written on paper. And that's so true when it comes to flat Earth and the globe. Because everything about the globe, all the lies about the globe are written on paper, but all the truth about flat Earth is literally written in stone from one ancient culture to the next, to the next, to the next. The truth is written in stone all across the surface of our flat Earth.
Oh yeah, brother. Really well said. That's the best part. And these things are ancient, ancient. That's why they want people to think that the Greek thought it's a spinning ball, but they're writing the history on a paper, and they can write whatever hell, they can make up whatever they want, right? The Greeks are not here to defend it, right?
Exactly.
So it's crazy, but the people wouldn't want to see it. The people, if you show them, they're not going to see it. And the people can go and try to figure out what is this map and what it meant. Like anybody can go and try to research it by themselves, but they are not going to accept it. The Globers are not going to accept it, that it's written in stone, a flat map, which represents an ocean, which represents the pillar, which represents the Tigris River.
Right. It had all the land that they were familiar with. And it's called, if you want to look it up, it's called the Imago Mundi. You can look that up. IMAGOMUNDI.
Maybe if somebody can put it in the chat.
That'd be cool.
So why have the people have not been trying to get deeper? That's why also they wanna, the Sumerians and everything, they try to connect them with aliens and all this stuff, right? Why? Because it's a distraction. It's a total distraction of what they really were saying or doing, right?
Well, anything they don't want to explain to us the right way, they throw something like aliens in on it. So now it's out of our hands. We can't understand it. It's done by some civilization that's so far advanced past us that, like, wow. That's where they go with that stuff.
Exactly, and that everything they claim that they did somebody else, right? Some aliens, right? Everything that the aliens did,
Right.
the humanity before had no. They will want to show everybody that the human species was or not is intelligent, right? Only the
Right.
intelligent ones are the ones, the sci-fi lovers are the intelligent of all the races that have been lived to the thousands of years, and whatever they are saying is all nonsense. But only what NASA and the Globers, the ones who push the globe, whoever we know who, who really push the globe, right? It's all interconnected. Maybe we, you all know what I mean.
Oh, it is all right there, hand in hand. You know, they have these shows that a lot of people follow, and they'll talk about what we're talking about, but yeah, then they'll throw aliens in on it and just ruin the whole story. And act like they don't understand. And you know, I don't think any of this technology was lost. It was taken, and whatever they didn't need to take to understand it, that they might have destroyed, they might have burnt down, what have you. But as far as like the Romans just going in and destroying places without investigating first, that's crazy. No, they did not. They took everything good and then they destroyed the rest of it. So they have all that information that claimed to have been burned. They have to. Can you picture that?
Exactly.
Going to a town and just burn it down, with no investigation first? That doesn't make good sense at all.
Oh yeah, definitely they rip many knowledge and many tech, right?
Right. And they said, oh, they burned it down, or it burned down. The
Oh,
cat knocked the candle over.
every major city has a major fire that burned down all the bricks and metal and glass back anywhere from the
Right.
1850s to 1900s. Every major city had a fire that destroyed 80% of the city. It's so ridiculous once you start looking into it, city after city. The
Bro,
stories,
the,
these
the
stories
Philip,
these people have made up.
there,
Oh,
there
well,
was a
we
fire. There was a fire recently in the Philippines post office that was pretty obviously looking old world building, and it was a raging fire. It was closed, so I guess the fire spread without anyone knowing, and not enough time to save the place, as far as I can understand. And I'm not sure how recent, but I think it was pretty recent, very recent.
I bet you
that
anything. I bet
It's
you
still going on.
now they're going to say, "Oh, the fire. Now it's not structurally safe, so now we have to tear it down."
I bet you.
Yeah, I bet you.
and this is the thing in Vatican, they have kilometers of books and stuff. I don't think all is about Bible verses, right?
Absolutely not. I mean, the real amazing thing is that how did those Catholics build 50 miles of tunnel under the ground with no Caterpillar land moving equipment, just picks and axes and shovels? They dug tunnels for miles and miles and miles underground. And now who knows what's down there? But yeah, it's not just about God and Jesus or whatever other spirituality or religion you want to talk about. There is so much buried history there and buried truth of our past. That they're hiding it, and they're hiding it with these bullshit stories that we get about aliens. I was on vacation last week, and I don't have cable, so I don't watch that stuff. But I was in this timeshare, and I turned the TV on, and I found the History Channel. Well, it's on the History Channel. It's all ancient aliens, and this historical city, and all that we can guess is that some ancient aliens came here and gave these people this technology. And oh my God, I mean, and knowing what I know now, I can laugh at it a little bit, but at the same time, I kind of get sick to my stomach listening to the lies of these people who are completely clueless. Completely clueless.
Well, not keep. I don't know if they're clueless or not. That almost has nothing to do with it. I think the problem really is the following these channels have, and The people producing these things know the truth. They know how to
Well,
lie.
maybe.
You know, so
I'll give a big fat maybe to that. I think some of them know the truth. That's why they're producing all the lies. But I think the people they put on the screen to talk about the aliens, I think those guys are clueless. Maybe the main.
possibly,
Yeah.
yeah, they're almost incidental. It's the
Yeah.
message that they're getting across and how they're skewing it to a mass amount of public, because these people get a lot of people to watch these shows constantly. So that's where Joe Rogan comes in. He's got an enormous following, so they stick in Neil deGrasse Tyson there all the time to push this narrative and push it in every single corner they can. You know, so because we know that all the media is owned and being operated, you know, in very maniacal ways, all of it. So that's
Oh
just
yeah, now every now and then there's some live conference in the Congress about UFO and all this. They're getting serious about it.
yeah, well, you know what that's going to happen. They're just going to lock us up for that because it's dangerous. We'll all be in a 15-minute city tomorrow because of the aliens and what they have.
Yeah, you got to watch out for the alien virus and get another shot for that.
Exactly. They'll never let us out of the house after that happens.
Oh yeah, they sprayed something the aliens that we all need to get right.
Exactly.
It's more control.
People,
Yeah.
yeah, through Hollywood, Star Wars, and alien movies through the past, how many decades of outer space stuff we've been watching. These people are just primed for something to happen, and you know, like that news broadcast you heard during the week or two, last week or two. Nobody bats an eyelash over the aliens that they supposedly have biological entity parts over there. We can't really say what, but yeah, there's something that's biological. And, you know, people just don't care. Like we said, man, this is a big litmus test. Aliens finally get here, and people, you know, they don't care.
Yeah,
So numb.
they've been using the movies for at least 50 years just to get people ready for whatever they're about to do. One of the funniest ones, Spider-Man, either Far From Home, I think it was Far From Home. At the end of the movie, he's walking with Mary Jane, and he goes, "Yeah, people will believe anything." And he's wearing a NASA shirt while he says that.
Great.
They just mock the people for being stupid and dumb. Yeah, NASA makes up so many lies about things, and people just buy it. They don't, no questions asked. All this stuff coming on the media now about aliens and some biology, and somebody in the Air Force came forward and told a secret that they shouldn't have told. Oh my God! I mean, but people eat it up. People eat it up, hook, line, and sinker, because them and their parents and their grandparents have all been hearing about these. They've been hearing these lies for 50, 60 years at least.
Yeah, right. Area 51, 1947, I think. A long time. Then you got guys like Bob Lazar and Stephen
Well, there are a
Greer,
few other guys. Yeah.
right? Pumping that nonsense. So you're getting it from all factions of the media.
Oh yeah, the people cannot see the indoctrination, right? Now recently it was like their Voyager is past the interspace or galactic. It is passed from our solar system. How the hell these people know? Yeah, you don't know where the hell is one plane in Pacific Ocean, right? Or the submersible. How the hell you know that your Voyager have passed? Yeah, in your imagination, it's gone really far, right? The further it's gone, the difficult it's for the people to come back from that imagination, right? So they're sending billions and billions of light year away, right?
I think that was the Voyager. They lost contact with it. The batteries finally died. 30 years or something like that.
Oh yeah, they sent some message to it. I just saw that today, I think. Yeah.
Funny.
It's so funny.
And there is so many who believe this, right? And other that if you go to space when you are 15 and when you come back, you're going to be
Yeah,
20. Yeah, you saw that, right?
everyone
So,
else would be 50.
and it's sold as a fact. Like, who the hell comes up with this kind of stuff, right?
You know, because they get away with it because the moon landing was so successful. They creeped into this crazy, fantastical, weird world there where Tyson can say anything he wants. He says that the oceans are bulging, and the Earth spins underneath the bulges of the water, and that's the tides. Now he just comes up with this really off the wall stuff. Him and Chuck Nice over there having a field day for themselves, laughing and being pretty stupid, really. And that's the litmus test. People will believe anything these guys say because look at what they say. And you can't argue with these people, really. You can't try and not convince them of anything, but you can't like show them the truth, and they laugh at you.
And the best part is like just this stamp in the clay destroys this indoctrination, this globe delusion for. And there are many other clay tablets and ancient stuff which is all in reality showing that, like, like, but not everything, they are decoding it and they are twisting it and telling it, sci-fi way. But there are so many ancient stuff that proves it, right? That's just an impression on a clay, right? Even a sundial, such a basic thing that you can draw with a clay or even in the ground, right? Destroys their globe illusion. So how many things, right, that exist that you guys have heard about? There's a combination of compass with a string, and it tells you the time and many other things, right? There are so many different technology, but it's simple, which proves, right, that we are not spinning, we are not moving, we are not on a sphere, right?
Nothing alludes to that ever. Somebody was telling me today about, or yesterday, that you can look up and see everything is round. I'm like, well, you're talking spherical or circular? You know, he wanted to go
Exactly.
spherical. So it's just circular though. It's right. It's not spherical. And we talked about spheres shining shadows on other spheres, and how that's a proof alone, right there in your kitchen, or any kind of shadow. Watch the shadow takes the shape of the object it's being cast on. Some straight pencil around a corner is a similar analogy of
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. And the device I was speaking about, you could imagine half the size of your mobile, right? Made of bone, and you flip it like a flip phone, and you have a compass in the middle, you have a string, you have a pointer, you can see the hour, you can see the cardinal directions, you can see some constellations. It even shows you from where the wind is coming. You imagine, we are speaking about thousands of years old. And these kind of devices prove that the earth is flat, the earth is not spinning. And there's so many other ancient stuff, simple stuff, that proves that the earth is flat and stationary, right? And how much stuff these people have already been hiding, right? We're speaking about stuff made of clay. Imagine sundials, but are much more complex, right? Or more not so simple like a sundial. It's telling you the time. It's telling you the cardinal directions. It's showing you the analemma. It's so many different things, right?
Yeah. And you know what else? It was showing. It would let you know this is where the astrology and the astronomy come in together, which they were very in tune with. They understood that, and they studied that more, and that's what they were teaching, how they were linked together, and they knew that if certain eclipses had certain colors, like white was with, I think, white was with Saturn. If it had white hue to it, you could link that to Saturn, and it would mean a certain thing. As well as if it had a reddish hue to it, that was with Mars, and yellow was with Venus. And if they had different, so if the eclipses and had different hues to it, they knew to link it to different planets and what to expect in the future. So these people were just so in tune with the with the heavens and all the interactions between everything that who knows what they kept secret from us and still understand what they understood back then, because it seems to be very far advanced.
Absolutely, brother, because the details, the timings, the
Wow.
precision, right?
Yeah.
It's impeccable, right? Nothing close to the pseudoscience bullshit.
Right. No fantastic measurements and you know gravity because of the size difference, and it's a bunch of crazy stuff. But that's what they make it complicated. So you really got to focus hard to understand it, and it's a waste of your mind though, because none of it exists. So it's a shame. But yeah, for those people for them to have that kind of information, it's just pretty mind blowing.
Oh, yeah. Because it's been shared for so many thousands of years, because that's what you perceive, that's what you see, right? And you can follow it. It's systematic, it's rhythmic, it's
Right. Their attention to detail was impeccable. To be able to translate that into a clay tablet with cuneiform letters like a bunch of triangles is amazing.
exactly. Oh, yeah. There's so much there, and that you have to really work on it to understand that even that clay impression with a pole in the middle can predict.
Wow.
Why? Because the earth is flat, the earth is stationary. Yeah, but this science, nobody wants to go in this kind of science, because why? It destroys the illusion, right? They want to go in refraction and bullshit that you cannot prove or whatever, right? Gravity or formula.
These
Exactly.
scientists, guys, these scientists, Tyson or what have you, they'll even say, yeah, it's observably flat. It feels like we don't move, but it's not flat, and we're moving. It's I give them that it looks flat because we're 6 foot tall or around there somewhere. Not that I'm 6 foot tall, but so you're not gonna see the curve in, like, I live in the mountains, so there's no way for me to really observe it. But you know what? I hit a highway the other day and I saw a water tower that I think is about 10 miles away. So I couldn't see it on the way back. So next time I hit the highway going that way, I'm gonna clock it, and I'm gonna figure out, because I drove right up to that water tower and I'm like, oh, wait a second, but now it's too close. So when I figure that out, I'm going to get back to you guys and see. I'll try to get the height of that thing and exactly how far away I am and exactly how much curve is missing, because it's probably about 10 miles, which is, I think, 66 feet.
Well, what we are actually observing and measuring and repeating nowadays as we're researching flat Earth. It confirms all of these ancient artifacts that we're finding, and like this old map from Babylon, which is supposedly one of the oldest. I think that if you read Wikipedia, it says it is the oldest known depiction of the known world. And what we observe even today, thousands of years later, confirms what was written on in that clay, thousands of years ago. It's like in everything that Neil deGrasse Tyson, these other guys put out there, all these claims they make, nobody can confirm that. Nobody else can go observe or measure or repeat anything that they're saying. But everything that we can observe and measure and repeat confirms everything that's written in stone from very, very different, or all the different ancient cultures that we've researched. So it's just there's like one of the ones I was dealing with today is the moon. Somebody said something about the moon. I said, well, please explain to me why the moon phases don't reverse every 6 months. And they were dumbfounded. Like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? The moon phases are the moon phases, and that's because of the sun. And okay, it might be because of the sun, but if your heliocentric belief is true, then the moon is going to be on the opposite side of the sun every 6 months, and the moon phases should reverse a completely 180-degree difference, but they're always the same. And so it's just one of the things we observe that confirms all the stuff written in stone, that the earth is flat and stationary, it's motionless, it's non-rotating. Everything we see in the sky moves over us. That's what we see, that's what we observe, and it confirms everything that we have learned from all of our ancient cultures.
100%. You know what else, Keith, is that if you take the view of the solar system, and in January you're on one side of the sun looking at the sun, it's daytime. Now go half a year from now on the other side, in the same 24 hours a day, you're looking at nighttime, but it's daytime in reality. It
Yeah,
makes sense. You know what I mean?
that yeah, night and day would reverse every six
Yeah,
months if the
exactly.
Helios hypothesis were true.
Right. They would
And
have
this
to,
is
and then,
yeah,
it's like it's almost 200 million miles, I think, and still the stars don't really shift around from each other. They move, right? They spin, but then there's no parallax. So you're looking at, from 180 million miles, you're looking at the same star systems. And like, how is that? Nothing changes. It doesn't. It's always the Big Dipper. It's always Sagittarius. It's always Virgo. It's always the same constellations
yeah.
that
What we
reset, no less, right?
Yeah, what we see in that Babylonian map is still accurate today. It's amazing because everything has a what I would call a divine order to it. It works with absolute perfection. There's not random chaos. There's not one star shooting left or right and three or four other stars going east and west. All the stars move in absolute perfect unison night after night, year after year, for all of recorded history for thousands of years. It should be a simple proof that the sky is moving over us and the earth is never moving.
Oh yeah, that's why they try to confuse people, because the thing is about it's the two planes, right? If we are seeing that we are on a stationary plane and we have a plane above that is moving, so it's compatible with each other to prove what is moving and what is not moving, and if it's a plane or not.
Well, long distance photography and lasers are proving that more and more and better and better. The same with, all buildings are perpendicular to the plane. There's no convergence or divergence, right? In any of the buildings, they're always plumb to each other, no matter how far away you go.
Yeah, that's a simple one.
Exactly.
That's a simple one I bring up to people all the time. Like where I live, I can stand on the beach, I can look down 27 miles and see condos. And
Hmm.
one of my surfer buddies says, "Well, yeah, but you can't see the bottom of those condos." I said, "No, you can't, That's because of convergence. But you can see that those condos are standing perfectly erect, straight up. They're not
How,
leaning away. They're not leaning away from you with any curvature. And he goes,
right.
uh, uh,
Yeah. So, how tall are the condos, Keith? How many floors? About
uh,
9 or 10 feet per floor,
yeah,
typically.
maybe. I honestly I don't even know. I think it's there's a limit though. They can't be like skyscrapers. They're everything here on
Right.
the East Coast, Central Florida. There's a limit to how high they can build. So they're
Right.
not that high.
All right. So maybe we got to figure out how tall they are. And either way, though, you're right. Though they would be tilting away if you admit that you can't see the bottom because of the curve. You have to admit that you can't. You should also be able to see them tilting away.
Right.
So they want it both ways. No, they're standing straight in front of you, but the curve hides it.
So the places like the Stonehenge and similar places which have astronomical connections, most of these places are like calendars, are like sundials. And there are many these people have destroyed. They want to call it whatever. But this was ancient tech telling you the real movement, the real time of the heavens above. And the people depended on it to know what's coming, to keep them synchronized with the heavens.
Right, and nature.
Exactly. Animals do that, right?
Yeah, they took that all away from us. And we've said it. It could be such simple things to help aid and guide our lives. You know, have your feet in the water on a half moon at a certain height, or it just could be such simple things that we don't know yet. Because the truth is pretty simple.
Oh yeah. So these are some of the sites or the already the constructions, the ancient constructions also could be part of this.
Well, I doubt they put these buildings, these spectacular monster constructions, just anywhere. You know, a lot of them are near
Exactly.
the water. You know, the tablet talked about the salt water or the bitter water, I think. Um, you know, we also talked about how star forts, cathedrals, stuff like that, where the 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 star forts are almost always near water on islands and had something to do with the water purification.
Exactly.
So
And the gardens and also below underground water, right? Because why are these ancient sites or some spiritual sites always have a
like a
drinking
bathhouse.
and drinking water sources? Like many places have that. And
Hmm.
these constructions are on some ancient ley lines, right? So these have to have some kind of energetic connection with the celestial body, the earth, and the water below, right? We spoke about it. It's very important also to have those veins, water veins that connects
Right.
to that really ancient water which runs below, right? Same way we could have above in these inner these ley lines, but in the atmosphere, right? Because it all looks like a sacred geometry. And if we see all the luminaries above are also moving in a sacred geometry, right? We have different layers and all this wisdom was shared, was part of the. And now, because we have been like cut off from this knowledge and continue to grow, we've been cut off. So you imagine that is in some place this would have, it's been going on, and how far advanced they could have, they would have been, right? Or they are, right?
Nah, it kind of seems more obvious that they were very peaceful, and who knows what went wrong? Maybe a natural disaster. I don't know, but something obviously happened. And but it also does seem like they were a much more peaceful culture that was in tune with nature and their surroundings and the heavenly bodies taught them much about their daily lives. Why would these all these cultures be so interested in what the stars are doing and the planets are doing and the sun and moon? What to the detail, the fine detail of inspection that they had on these objects. Then people jump right on it. Well, that was their television, and I kind of just laugh at that one. That's about all I've ever really heard. Well, they had nothing better to do. I'm like, really? You don't think feeding yourself and keeping a house over your head was a chore back in those days? I do. To throw that kind of study into cosmology, astrology, and it just it doesn't make good sense to just say, well, they needed entertainment.
They are showing us history, what they want us to show, right? They're showing, right, the real history, what is happened and what is happening. The majority we can never even understand or will understand, right? Because whatever they want to us to know, they're like, and with the help of the mix up and everything, with different dividing people on different opinions, so it's helping them, right?
Sure, it is. You can't agree on how to flush a toilet. How are you going to agree on something like that? On things that matter, right?
Oh yeah. So there have to be much more stuff like this that is hidden. These things are there, but this is the thing, they always distract, they add sci-fi to it. Also with this, they say, oh, because these people were ancient, that's why they thought the earth was a disk.
That one little detail they messed up on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the rest they're copying everything else, right?
right.
All the other sciences.
That I find pretty hysterical. The irony there is just so great.
I did a little research earlier today, just looking at some cities from an aerial perspective. And I looked at St. Petersburg, I looked at Barcelona, Spain, I looked at Paris, I looked at Washington, D.C. And not only is the architecture exactly the same building, same stone, same designs, but the civil engineering, like the layouts of the cities, are so similar as well. So it's like, oh yeah, all these stupid people that could build these massive buildings, they could do all this, but they were wrong about the earth being flat. Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, these buildings are amazing. Some of this stuff is majestic. As I said, right, yeah, Spain have a lot of history because it had influence of the Romans, the influence of the Greeks, the of the Arabs, of the all, right, different cultures. So it's so much of ancient history here.
Some of the buildings in Spain is so spectacular. It's just
Exactly, and nobody even cares.
wow.
Here is so much of stuff all around. Like it's crazy.
It's like
And you
Manhattan.
see some of these buildings, it's mind blowing, the beauty and the sizes, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Any city you go to, though, that people just walk by it and they're like, yeah, that's what they did back then. That's the common answer. Well, yeah, times change. I don't think that architecture style ever would have went out of style if it wasn't forced to. Those
Yeah,
buildings are spectacular.
and
So beautiful.
it's not just the outside of the buildings; it's the inside of the buildings too. Those
Right.
some of those ceilings are just
Bro.
unbelievable. How beautiful
and
they are.
and
Staircases,
standing
like,
this
oh, man.
and standing the test of time, right? That's the best part.
Yeah, not falling
Yeah.
apart after 100 years.
Oh, spectacular. Hey, I think I
But
found another mud flood town by me. It's like, I think the challenge is going to be find a town that's an old town that's not a mud flood.
yeah, really.
That's what I think the next is going to be. They're just all over the place. Any established town, like, I guess post Columbian, I it, you know, I guess there's got to be a time frame where new towns must have popped up that weren't mud flood. But any of the older towns, a couple 100 years old, 150 years old, I, I'm having a
Oh
hard
yeah,
time finding buildings that are not looking like a mud flood.
or it could be just a flood, and then after time, the sediment made a layer of mud, right? It's
Well,
possible.
something
Yeah,
happened in these towns around me. Like, I'm in South New York, and like, no matter where I go, you can see the buildings have been dug out, and there's half buried windows on a hill, some a little more level, but they're often on a hill, and there's just no real reason. Bricked up, and the Bronx is loaded with them. Manhattan, I haven't been to Brooklyn in a while, but the place is loaded with these buildings. Especially
So
like
yep,
in the
yeah,
smaller towns by me, there's no spectacular buildings like Manhattan has. Monster stuff. These are like a normal looking house. Some nice stone ones, don't get me wrong, but some of them are a little more modern looking.
yeah, but there's a phenomena that it's everywhere. The phenomena that it's been buried,
It
right?
is. Yeah, absolutely. Which makes you think these resets or these flood events could be, a little more frequent and less far and few between than we're being told by
yeah.
far.
They could be cyclical.
Right?
I tend to think they probably are. How long are the cycles? Who knows? But I think they
Right.
very well could be cyclical.
But it could be man-made too.
Right, exactly, with
Possible. Yeah.
vibration.
Just because we cannot imagine that this technology is so advanced, they have this and they have done it already a few hundred years ago.
No doubt.
Or it could be aliens too.
Excellent. Aliens. That was a big fail, that alien thing, now, it seems. Unless, next week they come up with something real dumb with it. I'm a little nervous about that, though. What aliens are going to bring with them could be a serious problem. Unless they just want to bring them and have fun with us at first.
They can paralyze the society with this.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they destroy a
Overnight.
few places and kill few people, but they cannot wipe everybody out because there won't be anybody to rule over,
Yeah, really.
right?
Wouldn't it be something if they actually destroyed the Vatican and destroyed Washington D.C. and some of these major historical sites? That would be crazy. But yeah, I wouldn't even put that past them.
Sure. But the only thing is, we don't know if that was, a benefit to us in the past, right? So if they're destroying everything, we might not want them to do that. And it seems to be a systematic destruction of this place throughout the last 150 years, at least, or probably longer. You know, History is about World War, World War, World War, World War, World War One, World War Two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. That's the majority of the history they want to teach us. All the problematic things that these people are causing. Hey, these guys, I didn't notice till recently. I forgot about it, but back in 2012, Obama passed the Smith Modernization Act, where it couples along with Project Mockingbird, where they infiltrated the news system, the news broadcasting system, and now with the Smith Modernization Act, he signed in where they can pretty much just lie and come up with what they want and put it up as real news. That the stories do not have to have any basis in truth anymore. And
Yeah, I heard about that, and of course nobody's going to believe you. They're no, they're telling you the truth.
bro, and here's something else. Why didn't, if Trump is such a hero, why didn't he do anything about that? There's so many things. He didn't
Yeah,
do anything about anything, that guy.
no,
So
he's
stop with
a
that.
puppet. He's a puppet, just like all the rest of them.
100%. He didn't do
Oh
anything
yeah,
important.
from Galileo and all these guys till now, it's all our players to keep the agenda going to the ultimate or where we are right now, right? So it's a preparation of all these 15, 20 years and whoever is all the politics that have been going on.
Right.
So it's so well planned that if they're coming up with the aliens now, so it's not very far, right? The blue beam and everything, into all the false flag together with that, it doesn't look that far because they've been feeding everybody ancient alien from a long time, right?
Sure.
So
Even in the 50s, we had sci-fi movies over here about aliens and enormous bugs and creatures and shrinking people and half animal, half human, all kinds of crazy stuff going on in the movies over here for 75 years or so.
oh yeah, it's a big money making
Sure.
machine.
Yeah. Right. And then you think of the toys that sell with it, the pajamas, the cereal bowls and cups and shirts. Oh my God. Can't even imagine how much money that kind of stuff brings in. Can't even count it.
So it's all very well planned and prepared for the upcoming movie.
When I was on vacation last week, I was talking to somebody about history being just as fake as the globe, and I was talking about the wars and how the wars were cover-ups to destroy some of the ancient architecture. And he said, "Wait! You're telling me World War I and World War II was to destroy some of the buildings?" I said, "That's exactly what I'm telling you." And he just said, "Wow." But yeah, we've been lied to, and the humanity has been programmed for, like you just said, Gene, 75 years to believe that something's coming. Everything's been hidden. The truth has been hidden, and we've been fed this false reality, all these lies about who we are, where we came from, and this agenda for aliens. It seems to be ramping up. It really does. The last year or two, it just seems to be. You hear about it almost every day. So it makes me think, and a lot of people think that something is going to happen probably within our lifetime. I used to think, oh, they're going to do that, but that might be in my kid's lifetime, or that might be another 50 years, 100 years. It could be tomorrow. We don't know.
Well, they're saying it was last week. You know, it, but nobody cared. So now, what do they do with that? I don't know if they were looking for some reaction.
People will compromise their freedom to be safe. Same like the last
Oh yeah,
jig, right?
that's
Last gig.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, right. They'll keep us home forever if if they want with aliens. I believe that. So that's when they're going to pull that stuff when they want us all to back in the house.
Well, as
Many
long as you
will
get it,
believe. Yeah. Go ahead, Keith.
I'd say as long as you get in an airplane and as long as you're eating peanuts, you don't have to wear your mask. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
So
Study
something
Howard
else is
wrote
gonna
that.
be for this one, right? Like
Yeah.
that, there will be some who are gonna believe, there will be some who not gonna believe, but they don't care. They're gonna go ahead because the idea and the concept is the same, right? Is to tighten the grip, right, and get that NWO, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you're right.
That's what seems to be going on. And the less reaction they get out of something like announcing they have biological debris from another world and no one reacts to it. That's I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad. It doesn't sound great that people like they're so softened up to it. Maybe it is good though. I can't read that one. I don't know what to make of it.
Maybe they get more aggressive in some ways to show that aliens are real.
Right? They could. And who knows what they have in those hangars in their underground bunkers, and we really don't know what they have. That could be aerial, you know, or submersible. We don't know.
Exactly. It would be really difficult even for us because maybe the tech is so good.
Oh, sure.
You're like, what the fuck? Their aliens are here.
They could probably have a real something. The light vibrates in a way that it feels like it's touching you. It could probably smell bad. It could, you could just don't let your imagination be the limitation of what they can do with these things. But they obviously want us to know about them, and we know that. I mean, what could they have? Maybe if it's past Antarctica and it isn't just from a type of being that walks around that we're not familiar with. Well, maybe, but the show is what I think they're really going to do with the high tech. It's high tech holograms with the strontium and the barium in the air that they're practicing with. Possibly the 5G towers that went up 2 years ago, like a fury, right?
Oh, yeah. They're spreading that web really well, so there's no lag in their transmission.
Right.
The tech is prepared. And everyone is connected. So it's also going to help for the fear to spread like fire.
Well, hopefully that won't. Maybe the people are softened up enough that they won't be afraid. It's less of a shock to their system.
Yeah, but what affects really is like shortage of resources, no business, everything collapsed, right? That's where is the real problem, right? That people are gonna fight to each other and freaking try to kill each other for whatever, right?
Sure.
That's the bad part, right? They are not gonna be coming here and
No, that can be a problem. They'll just cut all means of transportation off in certain areas, and you're done. It wouldn't take much to cripple a country by blowing a few roads and bridges up.
exactly because the people are very paranoid. Also, they want to buy everything up or whatever, right? And create chaos.
Sure, that's been programmed with all the storms that they offer to us through HARP and these out of place tornadoes, and they let us know for a week, so we go and raid the stores and buy everything we can get our hands on, and the stores are empty, and the storm never comes. Well, sometimes it does, but it's like programming us to act this way, and this is they know if they announce certain things, that we're gonna behave a certain way. That's like the Hegelian dialect, isn't it? They cause the problem, they wait for the reaction, and then they offer the solution to whatever the reaction is that suits them best. Because they're not here to help us. They're not going to help us.
Exactly, as we spoke about in the last podcast about the AI and how this device is also, in a way, controlled and reads our frequency and mind,
Right.
right?
Yeah. And at alarming speeds, it can do that. It can react like in lifetime situations almost. They're getting to a point where, and I'm sure everybody's seen all the different mask videos going around about this politician or this actress on a plane or whatever have you, or even famous actors with those life masks that are robotic. So, like, who knows? If they make humans look like that, they could have aliens walking around too. 100% robot with a latex skin, and you can't tell the difference.
Exactly. Maybe we are thinking only they are masks, but they are real, artificial, right? So
Right.
it's a big
All
show. Yeah,
all this because they don't want us to know where we live, guys. All of this for that. They don't want us to know our potential. They don't want us to know where we live, where we're from, where we're going. They want to limit everything about us.
and how magical we are, right?
Right. They limit our travel. We don't even know what the maps really would look like. They're not allowed everywhere. So we got to kind of figure they're lying. So
Exactly,
probably
because
a lot
people
more out
don't
there.
understand the concept that if you're on a globe, you have already explored all the world, and there's nothing to explore.
Right.
That's one of the most simple thing.
It's true. Covered every corner of the globe.
You
Certain
don't, as we spoke, we don't need to put armies and all around Antarctica because majority don't know, right? They think it's just Antarctica is below the globe. That's it. And even if you freaking cross it, you're gonna come maybe reach Australia or South America if you cross it, right? So people, no one is going there in the cold to die there. For what? Maybe one time every a decade somebody try to cross or they whatever bullshit, right? To keep the agenda going. It's a simple way, like a prison planet created. And the best part is this, you've seen that meme, right? Of a horse tied to a chair, and the horse can go.
right. He just
It's
thinks
a
he's tired.
mental, yeah, it's a mental prison that is created that you cannot, if you don't think that it's not a ball and more land can exist, you are never gonna, like,
And the irony of it is that a lot of people will believe that there's plenty of different planets out there that probably have more advanced life. There's probably still dinosaurs on planets out there somewhere, right? And everything in between. But they won't accept that maybe that there's things past where we're allowed to go.
exactly, they're giving in a way for their imagination to be free, but be in a
Nah, man, you know what? That
a
rots your
prison.
imagination. That rots your imagination because it's not real. If you understand that it's not real, that's fine. Then go with your imagination. But if you think that's reality, I think that's rotting your imagination. I really, it's doing a disservice to yourself to explore your mind in a world that doesn't exist and you think it does, kind of. You know, I don't know.
Exactly as you say, no, there are extra worlds, and even to get out of the low orbit, it's so complicated, and they want to explore Mars and Moon and all these ancient planets and everything. It's just away, right? Look up, don't look on the horizon. What's beyond that horizon? What's beyond? No, look up. That you can even never go. The majority can't even freaking take a flight, right? So it's the best way, easy way, cheap way, right? In a way, because if they want to have to spend for all the resources to guard these boundaries, right? But then they show you in every other way, right? In the movies, in the books, in every way, they tease, right? They twist, they take that real concept and twist it into a sci-fi fantasies, right? Most of their amazing stories are just a rip-off of what is there on this horizontal plane and above and below, right?
Yeah, and I think the hostility that they show is probably far from the truth as well. Possibly. I don't like to think that everything's going to be hostile when we run into something from a different place. It's just how I think, but could be wrong. But I don't
If
think
we
Mhm.
if we believe that there are extra lands, there have to be extra species, right? If we believe that the Earth is a plane and many different cultures speaks about the plane above and planes below, heavens and the earth below. So how many different kind of humanoid species can exist on these different planes? There could be beings that are not even body, right? They could be just light beings, right? Or any other mutation. But the only thing is they're on different planes and different frequencies, right? So they might look totally different to us, or variations, but none of this has to do with space. It's heavens and the subterranean world, right? So how many species is possible? We cannot discard this too, because if we think that the earth is flat, there have to be levels or some kind of other living organisms too, right? Below us, above us. So all these ancient texts, and they want us to believe that these are aliens, and maybe some could be real, but they're not aliens. These are just part of our ecosystem, which shares, right?
Hey, when did they start talking about aliens? Babylonians never saw any aliens, did they?
No, ancient culture speaks about people from the stars, but it's not stars, right?
Well, nah.
Or
I'm
from below.
thinking more modern aliens.
Oh yeah, this could be just could be another tech, right? It could be just an tech too, just to keep some kind of maybe to abduct people and say these are the aliens, right?
Yeah, we might not even be the top of the food chain after all. My belief, my opinion is that there's certainly some type of civilization or world beneath our surface. I mean, these DUMBs, these deep underground military bases, there's no way that our military built these things miles underground. They discovered them. Maybe there's relationships there with some other civilization beneath us or below us. This is my opinion now. This is not, flat earth fact. This is just Keith Cameron Smith opinion. But I strongly believe that there is some type of civilization. Maybe they look like aliens. Who knows what they look like? But they're beneath us to somehow, some degree. They put truth in movies all the time. One of the movies that promotes transhumanism is what is that name? Battle Angel. Forget her name. Lita Battle Angel. And there's a scene in there where this one transhumanism says, "Come down to my world, little flea," and he breaks through the floor of this building and goes down to this ruined city underneath the ground. And she follows him down there, and they have a fight scene. But he makes a statement that there's worlds upon worlds upon worlds, and there could be a lot of truth to that. We don't know what's down there, but the fact is that the little bit of depth that we can gain, we see these tunnels, we see these amazing spiral brick tunnels that are not too deep below us. So the little bit of research I've done, the little bit of evidence I've seen, tells me pretty clearly that it's a very real possibility that there's a civilization, or maybe civilizations plural, beneath us.
Exactly, because this is the thing. The best part is that most of the ancient cosmologies speak about this, and some are very in detail, right? And these globers and all their sci-fi stuff, it's all just imagination. All the stuff related to flat earth and all the cosmologies and all these heavens represented, and these different spiritual places that exist according to different cosmologies, it's there, it's written from in stone in different ways, but it's been guarded, right? It's there, but these people are just creating crap out of thin air, and the people are believing it. It's much more the truth. As I said, truth is stranger than fiction, because the human mind doesn't have that capacity, right, to define, because everything, it makes up of what it knows and twist it. That's why there is that essence of truth to some of these stories, because it comes from reality, but it's been twisted into this sci-fi space fantasy on a spinning ball, right?
Right. And since we're taught as kids all this nonsense from very young ages, I I call foul on that whole thing, because that's just not fair to do that to kids. 'Cause, you know, it's hard to grow up. Obviously, it's hard. Look at how many people won't listen to us, but more and more people are, because they twisted everything. Everywhere you go, there's lies being told to you by this same group of people. So hopefully it grabs the attention of more and more people quickly, because it's everything is twisted, inverted, upside down, backwards. Everything's all crazy. This is crazy time we got, guys.
I think one of the sad things is that some people just don't care. I got a childhood friend I've mentioned on here a few times. He's a science teacher. He'll almost admit that maybe NASA didn't go to the moon, but he can't even begin to comprehend or try to wrap his mind around flat Earth. He just has to deny it. He denies all the science I give him, all the facts I give him. He just can't can't do it. And I said, well, let's just go back to NASA. Are you okay with them lying to kids? I mean, the kids that you teach, your own children, are you okay with NASA lying to them? He said, yeah, I'm fine with it. So I mean, here he
He
is.
said that?
Yeah, he said, I'm fine with it. I was
Oh,
like,
man.
and then he got, there was another conversation where he got mad. And I said, bro, you're mad at me for telling you the truth instead of being mad at institutions that are lying to you and lying to your children. So yeah, some people just don't care. They just don't. They want to be right. They want to hold on to their science fiction. Yeah, they just can't let go of the beliefs. Their ego will not allow them to admit that maybe they're wrong, and that's the sad part of it to me. But and those people, I've just learned to, over the last several years, just learn to let them be, let them go, and just help the people that you can, the people who are sincere and that are truly curious.
Wow. Yeah, I had a similar situation. Someone told me a week or two ago that, all right, if the moon landings were fake, they did it to scare Russia. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
man.
I've heard
Bro.
that.
I'm like, nah, bro. The space race between the Russians and the Americans was won by the Germans because of Operation Paperclip.
Yeah. Well, the moon is really a space station. There's aliens living inside of the moon watching us all the time.
I'm pretty sure they have tunnels there too.
Yeah, tunnels too. I did watch something yesterday. I think it was Cherry Eicher, the Flat Out Truth channel. He had someone posted one of his videos showing the craters on the moon, and I had not heard this before. Maybe you guys have already heard it, but he showed air bubbles being released in epoxy and how it looks exactly like a lot of the craters on the moon. So his theory, and he said, this is just my opinion, my theory, that whenever the moon was created, however it was created, that these craters were actually air bubbles or gases escaping from the surface of the moon. And he'll still say, whatever the moon is, whether it's a projection or an object or whatever. But I thought that was an interesting perspective to look at the craters and realize there might have been gases.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, if you put plasma on the sand, it can create craters too. There's some experiments who some people did. Can check that out.
If I've worked with epoxy a couple times, and if you do get a bubble on the surface, and it's a full bubble, it's not a circle, but there is a dent in the surface. If it dries a bubble and you pop the bubble, there's a dent and a ridge there. So I can understand that. It does kind of make some sense.
Yeah, according to the simulation theory, it's an artificial moon is an artificial body, right? As the whole thing is artificial according to the simulation. It's a simulator.
Right.
So,
It's like a spaceship put there, right?
yeah. The thing is, the people need to, like, the majority need to stop, um, like, consume the bullshit of NASA and all these globe pushers, right? And see stuff that exists, have real world applications, right? And can be experimented to prove what it's trying to say, right? And stuff like these maps and many other stuff that exist, and places and constructions and many other things that proves that the earth is flat and stationary, and everything, how it works and how it functions, right? That's real science, right? And it's not complicated science.
No, it's
Right?
simple. It's simple. Like you said, truth is simple. And even going back to the moon, what we talked about, the moon phases would reverse every 6 months. That totally debunks the whole heliocentric hypothesis. This idea about the craters, that debunks the idea that it's a rock. The new moon, I mention this to people all the time. I said, where does the moon go every month during a new moon? Nothing can observe it. Nothing can detect it. No, nothing. You can't see it. You can't detect it with any scientific equipment. So where is the moon every month when it's not in the sky? You can't see it. Why can't you see it? Why can't you make out the outline of it? I mean, the sun is allegedly hitting the earth. The earth is allegedly putting off a reflection of sunshine into the space called earth shine. So why isn't the earth shine lighting up the dusty rock in outer space? What? So the moon's just not there. And I bring this up to people all the time, and I ask them, so where is it? Well, of course, they don't have an answer. So the fact that you cannot see or observe the moon once a month, again, debunks the entire heliocentric hypothesis to me. Because if it was a dusty rock, we would still be able to see it, or an outline, or maybe the fake ISS would be able to take a picture of it or a video of it.
Somebody should see it lit up at once.
Exactly.
Not everybody can see the eclipse at once, right? So somebody should see it lit up, and nobody does. It disappears for all intents purposes.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about the eclipse. I'm just talking about every single month during a new moon, the moon cannot be seen or detected at all.
Right, because it's supposedly in the shadow. But it can't be in full shadow. It can't. Somebody would see it lit up over there somewhere.
Right.
150, 1,000 miles away. They can't be in the shadow for all of us.
Yeah. But
right?
that also,
but it is. So it's gone. Is really what it is.
That also lends to the idea that, maybe it is a projection. I think the sun and the moon could very well both be projections into our sky.
Never know. They're very interesting.
Oh yeah, or connected in some kind of energetic way.
Yeah, definitely
through frequencies.
I think they're connected. I think the sun charges the moon, and as the moon slowly goes back, it loses charge in perfect timing back to the new moon and gets recharged. Something like that. It's electric.
If the sun and moon are playing that dance around each other, and we have the toroidal field or the magnetic energy in the middle, so it's a play of light and magnetism.
Yeah,
I can just put that in a simple word. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some type of electromagnetic dance between the sun and the moon. We do not know how it all works. Nobody does. The claims of mainstream science that the sun is huge and far away. I mean, even their own scientists will say, no, the sun is somehow electrical in nature. It's hollow inside. It's not powered by thermonuclear fusion. And these are scientists who still believe the Earth is a globe, but they're contradicting the narrative by saying the sun is not what we've been told.
That's good. It's a start.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's a dance of light and magnetism. So there is covering and uncovering of light and magnetism, is distortions in the middle. So the eclipses, the phases, the new moon, the waxing, waning, everything could be just a part of this, because they are rotating around something in the middle, right? Which could be physical, which could be energetic, which could be magnetic, which could be electric, or a combination, right? And all these different effects are doing that play of these luminaries. And it's all verifiable and testable, but yeah, people need to dig in more deeper and organize and experiment this kind of thing, because everything can be if we want to, if the community wants to, right? Because we're with the technology and everybody in different places, if it's well organized, all these things can be proved, right?
Yeah, I think it's
The
just a matter of
faith.
time. It's just a matter of time. I think the community will come together. At least some of them will, and more and more people will be doing, experiments. More and more people will be doing documentaries. There'll just be more and more things coming out over the next several years that should make the truth so obvious for more and more people that I can only hope that the controllers of this system, they just start losing some of their control as more and more people start waking up to the truth.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And true science will do that.
Well, they got reality in such a ridiculous state that people would have their wits about them, aren't just too wrapped up in paying their bills and dealing with life. Should be aware of some point of 100 things going wrong around the world these days, and so that should shake people up to start to understand that these people feeding this narrative are just not here for us. They're not here for humanity.
Oh yeah, it's written in stone. Yeah, any Globers can go and check. They can
Yeah,
even go on, as Keith said, they can go on Wikipedia and see which is the oldest ancient map that exists, and it's right there.
yeah. And then when they when the mainstream scientists or the mainstream pseudoscientists get to a place that they can't understand or they refuse to acknowledge, they refuse to go there mentally, or they're just, well, maybe it's aliens. It just
The
be
truth,
their go-to thing. Well, maybe it's aliens.
the truth defends itself, brother.
Absolutely. The truth doesn't need
And
any defense.
exactly, and this map is one of an example, test of time, that no matter what these people can do, they cannot change it. And definitely there are more. Definitely. And yep, we're gonna try.
Yeah, I bet you there's dozens of other things like that in different museums. Even this map that we're talking about tonight is in the British Museum. Imagine that. And they allegedly found it in the year 1882. So much weird stuff around the year 1880, 1890. And I bet you the museums around the world probably have all kinds of cosmological, astronomical, devices in them that they don't even know what they are. But we could look at them pretty quick and say, yeah, that's a flat Earth map. That's truth right there, truth in stone.
Exactly. In the British Museum. So Globers, can you bring us something older than that and show us written in stone that the earth is a globe? No. We have something that's there in the British Museum which says that the earth is flat.
Yeah. I don't even know about these guys, Copernicus and Galileo and everybody. Kepler. I honestly think some of it might just be made up. It seems like it's just in the last 150 years, somebody, the Jesuits or whoever it was, I don't know, just got together and tried to put this story together to promote the globe.
Characters, yeah.
Yeah.
Just making up characters.
Yeah.
So the
Exactly.
ones coming in the future would have some kind of credibility, fake credibility, because they all defend each other, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they create a fake history for themselves.
Yeah, but they're screwing also up a lot, especially in the last decade, because they have competition.
It's just got so out of hand, the ridiculousness of it all. So let them just keep going crazy, and more people understand how ridiculous it is. Maybe it'll work in our favor. But
Oh yeah, they're gonna do their job.
The crazier they get, like, the worse it is, though, because this is what they're saying for the future. These crazy things. They're going to have to back this up. And if they don't have to back it up, maybe they're just going to say, like, what we're talking about, all this really crazy nonsense. I don't know. I'm just saying, if it's end game, then they're just going to completely make fun of us and say really crazy things like they have been. Science just got spiraled out of control in the last 10 or 15 years, as far as I can tell. The pseudoscience with these shows and these Tyson guys and Michio Kaku.
Oh yeah, they're taking over also on the social media now because they see that no one is watching, not many are watching the TV, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And they're going to these Joe Rogan guys who have the following already. And think of how many people watch that show religiously, and when this guy comes on, they're like, yeah, they just cheer him on because
Yeah.
that's what they do. It's like football for them. Their favorite team is on now.
There was a one I just watched recently on YouTube from Joe Rogan with I think the guy's name was Eric Weiner or Eric Weiner.
Winner.
Yeah. Have you seen that one, Gene?
I don't think so. That's pretty funny.
The dude is a physicist, and he's calling out, Michio Kaku and these other guys. He said Michio Kaku is out of control. He said all these people who believe in this idea of quantum gravity, it doesn't work. It's nowhere to be found in reality, and people have lost their careers over this. It was actually really, for Joe Rogan, it was really good for some guy to be calling out these astrophysicists and calling them fakes, really. But yeah, you might want to look into that one. I was really surprised to hear something like that on the Joe Rogan show.
Huh. I saw him call out Neil Tyson when Tyson was saying something about life after death, and if you can get somebody to write a note and put it on a shelf and hide it, and when they die, they go look at the note, and then when they come back, they tell you what's on the note. That's proof of life after death for him. Something really weird and obscure. And Joe Rogan was like, "That sounds ridiculous. That sounds like, yeah." And so he's kind of changing his stance a little. He's getting a little tougher on these guys, it seems.
Yeah.
Because he'd give them all kinds of softball questions and just wow, oh wow, oh my God,
Yeah.
blow my mind
No,
constantly.
doubt. He's still a paid shill, with no doubt about it. He used to be like, "There's no way we went to the moon," and then something happened. He's, "Oh yeah, we definitely went to the moon."
What do I know?
But maybe because of that change of made him much more where he is today, right? Maybe that was his gig, that to get here he had
Right.
to
Create
right.
that
We're speaking of
himself,
millions of people. Yeah.
Yeah, millions of people, millions of dollars in his pocket.
Oh yeah. But maybe he needs to be a little tougher with them because some of it's just really off the wall and kind of unbelievable. And if Joe Rogan don't stand up for it, people are going to be like, "What, are you crazy? That's ridiculous. How could you?" Right? I don't know. Just wondering how this dynamic is really, why it's turning this like this.
Yeah, when you need a hero, they're gonna provide it.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So it's part of the show. Yep. So there are many other things. As I said, it's so many other stuff, and as these people are doing their job, we're gonna be doing our job to bring to the table the knowledge and the wisdom that's being shared. And there's so much more than this. We're speaking about a very big timeline, all right? And yeah, it's amazing how accurate all this stuff is. And which only makes our truth movement stronger day by day.
Yeah, me personally, as I talk to people almost every day about this, I've got to watch my own ego. I got to keep it in check because there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, and it's like the more we know and learn, and just like this Babylonian map, it's just another piece of truth that feeds confidence in our hearts and our minds. So, anybody listening, just I mean, I'm preaching to myself, really. Just be careful not to cross that line from confidence into arrogance, because the arrogance doesn't help the truth movement, and there's plenty of that out there. There's plenty of that in some of the guys I listen to and hear. Even one of the ladies that does a lot to promote flat earth, I completely blocked her on social media, because if you disagree with her, she starts attacking other truthers and starts attacking other flat earthers. So that we don't need that. We definitely don't need that. We need to keep some sense of humility and sincerity, and just realize we don't know it all. There's a lot more we don't know than what we do know, and let's just keep working together.
Exactly, because the problem is also this, brother. Want people to be spending the time in arguing about different thing other than flat earth. The people don't understand that people of flat earth are from every corner, okay? And
Every religion, yeah, absolutely.
the people are doing this part, like, okay, and God said that, and okay, all right, we know that he's the creator. Prove it. Don't prove that the creator is there. The creator don't need you to prove that he exists. I mean, prove that the earth is flat. Prove that the earth is stationary. Do something that helps, and don't create that division because I think like this, or you're from there, or he's from there, or we are from there, and all the time the same thing. The earth is flat and is the ultimate truth, and so is the ultimate God, and this is the truth, and we're gonna be saved, and we're gonna be whatever. Go and prove it. Prove it. Help to prove it. All that energy and focus that the creator is gonna help you and come and help you. Do something about it. Don't be there that you are from there, you are from this, you believe in that, I believe in this. No, that it's not gonna help the community.
That's all a manufactured way of thinking, though. That's how they want us to think. Yeah. If people could really let that go, I think in desperate times we would, though. And even in not so desperate times, I think people really want to get along. I don't think people really want to fight. I really don't. It's
Exactly.
funny.
Just sharing 5 verses from the Bible that the earth is flat is not gonna help. Be a part of the community. Help to organize, to do experiments, observations. Prove that there's so much of information that could be dig in and deeper and prove, right?
Yeah,
All the
I like.
technology that exists, all the stuff that exists on this plane of different layers, right? There's so many stuff.
Yeah, I like the personal tests we can do. Watching the moon go behind clouds should be an easy one. Shadows should tell you that That's not an eclipse. And the phases, um, the tests are a lot of fun. You know, get a compass, guys. Compass can't work on a ball. It has to be on a flat surface, especially with the way they have magnetism showing on the globe. A compass couldn't work that way.
Yeah, just another one of the simple truths that what a compass has to be held flat for it to work. You can't point it north or south and have it angled. It's got to be flat.
It does. That needle is very sensitive. It's a very sensitive instrument. As much of a toy as it might look and be, that's what it is. So if it's off kilter just by a little bit, it's not going to work properly.
Yeah, that and the mechanical gyroscope that I've been talking about that a bit lately in some conversations that it holds rigidity in space. A mechanical gyroscope, if you set it to reference level and you're in an airplane, you take off in Canada, you could fly all the way down to the tip of South America and it's still referencing level from where it was set way up in Canada, which means you're on the same level plane down at the tip of South America. And you got these globe, and forgive me here, but idiots. I mean, these indoctrinated idiots say, "Well, no, the gravity makes the gyroscope readjust." No, it doesn't. The gravity does not make a gyroscope readjust. A pressure gradient in the atmosphere does not make a gyroscope readjust. The gyroscope is another simple scientific proof that the Earth is flat.
Oh yeah.
Keeps the rigidity, right?
Exactly. It cannot readjust. You can't even manually reset it unless you stop it and restart it completely, and then it'll reference level from that new place that you set it.
Oh yeah. Even some moon observation and experimenting the angles and different sides of the moon and the size, everything can, like, there's so many different stuff that people can do, right? To prove.
Someone mentioned to me last week. I said, "Well, aren't you afraid that you're in a cult? Don't you think maybe flat Earth is a cult?" And I was like, "Well, if it's a cult, who's the leader?" There's no leader in flat Earth. You got a bunch of people who discovered the truth, and they're out there doing their own experiments and learning, living and learning. That there's a bunch of great channels on YouTube, and there's some great websites and such. But there's no leader. It's not a cult. If there is a cult, it's the world of academia. It's the elementary schools and high schools and universities. I mean, the cult is mainstream science.
True.
Yeah, and they call the rest the flat earthers as a cult. They don't want to see themselves, right, where they have reached in this cult.
Projection.
Absolutely. They cannot consider that they're wrong. That's the bottom line. Their arrogance, their ego keeps them from it. They cannot consider that what they've taught to believe, what they've believed for their whole life, they can't consider that maybe they're wrong. But if they could ask that question, is this true? Is it possible I'm wrong? Then that starts to open the door to looking at the world through new eyes, or just considering things from a different point of view, which is, in my opinion, that's wisdom.
Exactly. And the community needs to do right that all the information in this last decade, it's there. There's so much new openings and ways that are coming out that the people need to go further, like the advance of flat Earth, because what these globers are only doing is making fun and bullying and insulting. But the community needs to advance on what you already have and what's coming, what's been coming in this recent year, elaborating on that, getting deeper on that. The more deeper you get, the more ways open and more proofs you get, right? So this is what the community needs to do or focus on. Than all the division and bullshit that's been going on for having difference of opinion, right? Or origin, whatever.
Yeah,
So
difference of opinion on things that don't matter.
exactly, because we all are trying to learn, and the more different perspective we have, it's better. But you're not gonna push it that that's this, or if somebody else has another, so you're gonna, right? Even though we all are flat earthers. The people need to understand that we as flat earthers are a community which is huge and from every corner of this earth, and we know it's growing, right? So yep, we will do our job. We're gonna be digging in more deeper and connecting the dot and confirming that we are on the right way. We always were with this flat earth. Because if there was a doubt, maybe we would have lost through the way, right? But it never happens.
No, you don't
Like
hear that a lot.
exactly, globe is such a joke that is for us. It's so. Yeah. So anyway, guys, we're gonna have last thoughts on this, and we're gonna be wrapping up.
Yeah, I'll say goodnight, everybody. Good to be here with you guys. Good show. Nice talk. And it just makes me think that the further back we go, the better off we're gonna be with finding proofs to what might have happened or how to continue after learning from the past. And this is why these guys are so hell bent on covering it all up from us, is because it is that important for us. So, and it's been a lot of fun, uncovering these stones with you guys. And, you know, we'll have some more fun next week, guys. Thanks, everyone in the chat. Good to see you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Great show, Vikka.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. I think the next podcast we're gonna have this Wednesday, a surprise podcast. All right, guys, because we were supposed to give that surprise, but it's been delayed for a couple of days or few days. But we're gonna be having a podcast this Wednesday for that surprise. We decided to do a podcast on that surprise. So make sure you guys check out. Yeah. Keith, last word, brother.
Well, I just want to encourage everybody that when the dinosaur aliens attack us, don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. It's not real. But yeah, I love the fact that the truth of flat Earth is written in stone. All the bullshit about the globe is just written on paper and written on digital internet websites that can be changed on a whim. And, it's just good to be on a path of looking for the truth, seeking and finding the truth. I certainly don't know what all the truth is, but flat Earth is something that any of you, and myself included, we can know that to be true. And we can have some confidence in that. So, Vikka, thank you. Look forward to being with all of you again.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. So yeah, Globers, it's real in stone, and that stone is in the British Museum, and which says that the Earth is flat and that is 2,500 years old. You have something older than that for us to show your globe? We are here open to see it and to discuss about it. So there you have it, guys. A 500 years old map etched on a stone. Awesome. Make sure you guys are ready for Wednesday for the surprise. Thank you, Gene. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, everybody in the chat. So this is Vikka Draziv signing out, guys. Make sure to see us in a couple of days. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Good night,
Goodbye.
everyone.
Good night.
Astronauts to the moon.
Houston, we have a problem.